Hello everyone and welcome. This is Christine with Patter Crafts, and today I am here with a design team project for Scrapping for Less. The items I'll be using today are the Camping Cuties Scrapping for Less stamp set. I'll also be using the Explorer die, also from Scrapping for Less, and this pattern paper pad. It's called Summer Camping. This is from Scrapping for Less. It's 6x6 double-sided sheets. There are 4 of each design. So I am using a card sketch for today because I have been trying to use up my pattern paper, and I find using sketches is kind of the best way to do that. Sometimes using a sketch just takes the stress out of using the pattern paper. For those of you that like pattern paper, there is a pattern paper club over on the Scrapping for Less website. It is a club, not a subscription. If you are interested, you can just let Teresa know. She gives you a code to use each month, and you can purchase 4 of these Scrapping for Less paper pads for $4 each plus shipping. I'll leave a link to the store in the description below, and you can head over to the Scrapping for Less website if you are interested in the paper pad club. So I have I die cut this Explorer die 4 times from just some white cardstock. I stacked them one on top of another to give this die cut some dimension. I'm using the Vintage Photo Distress ink and gathered twigs, kind of giving it like a little ombre kind of look with this brown, which I think goes perfect with the theme and the pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and start layering my pieces. This red cardstock is just some from my stash. I have a bunch of these packs of plain cardstock from Michael's that I am trying to also use up. So I did stamp out my image and I put him aside to dry for a few minutes before I colored him in. The paper that I stamp and color my images on, it seems that most of the ink pads for the Copic friendly ink that I use do need an extra minute or two to dry. If I stamp it and go straight to coloring, I do get some smudging that happens. When I color, I tend to go with what I'm going to color lightest first, for the most part. I definitely do the skin tones first, because I find if I do them after anything that touches these skin areas, I always get bleeding. I'm sure it's my paper or maybe the way I color, but that I find just helps me out. I also try not to color 2 images that are touching. So like I did his skin tones first, then I did his shorts. And I know the shorts touch the legs, but I try to do that bottom part last. Then I'm going to his boots, and then I'm going to move on to his shirt. I find also for me, coloring in this method prevents my colors from bleeding into one another. It's kind of like giving one area a minute or two to dry before going into the area that is touching it, especially on images that have really thin lines. I'm pretty sure it's probably just my paper. I purchased these packs of cardstock from a local office store, and I thought it was a great deal, and they work really well for some things, and I bought them for Copic coloring. They're not the worst, but it's not the best. But I have so much of it, I just use it. I've just learned how to work with it. And I think anytime you start coloring with any kind of new product, whether it be a coloring medium or a paper, you kind of got to learn how that all works together. So just finishing up with his hair using a variety of different yellows. I think that first yellow color you weren't able to see, and that was Y31. So I used the Y31, the Y21, and the Y11 for his hair, and the first one was the W2. So now that he is colored, I cut him out with my scan and cut, and the card is pretty much ready now to finish putting together. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my Explorer sentiment down, adding my little camper here with some foam tape. And we're going to go ahead and put this all together onto a card base. Once he's on there, I'm going to grab my white gel pen, just add a couple little highlight marks. This is something new that, well, I wouldn't say new, it's new to me to start trying to add to my cards. I always love the look, but I always feel like I go a little overboard. So I either go way too far or I don't use it at all. So thank you so very much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more and you're not already, please hit that subscribe button. But until next time, bye.